think he likes me.
I got bomb nubbled. Quick. Fang attack!
Present the favorite of towns near and far.
Janner memorized the whole book. Whoa! It's so cute.
Wow, this is amazing.
Come on, let's go, let's go! He likes me.
I got bomb nubbled. Quick. Fang attack!
Present the favorite of towns near and far.
Janner memorized the whole book. Whoa! It's so cute.
This is my family. Tink loves to take risks. Stay away from the edge. And Laylee
I'm going.
is always up for adventure. But we're perfectly free. As long as we do exactly what the Fangs say. 9 years ago, they came from across the dark sea of darkness during the Great War. Here in Glipwood, they didn't even fight back. But I don't remember those days, and life is pretty normal. As long as the Fangs are in a good mood, and I don't look silly in front of Sarah Cobbler, and we avoid the dangerous creatures, there's absolutely nothing to fear.
I think he likes me.
Except for the Black Carriage. It comes at night to take you away. No one knows where to, because no one ever comes back. They took her!
We have to do something to help.
Help? Forget that girl ever existed.
A map? But to what?
Ankle Jelly Manor.
We have to find the Florid Sword. He's the only one who can get her back.
Mag wants one thing, the jewels of Anira.
That was close.
What was close?
Jenner! Lily! Tink! There must be a clue in the map. No, Papa! has been Wingfeather.
Stay in goal this time and bounce their slingers. When they mook their whackers, I'll jake those beans crossfield to Janner, who will already have skittered around their hounders.
Guys, am I still frozen?
Tell me about LeJewel.
I'm gonna fight them too! Mr. Pete!
Remember who you are.
Whatever your plan was! I think we need a better one!
Well, in the immortal last words of General Schnimp, toodles!
Hey everybody, Chris Wall here. Good Thursday evening to you. Hope you guys are having a fantastic summer. I know we are. Crew is hard at work on season 2, and it's been a minute. Sorry we haven't done a live stream in a minute, but we've been hard at work. I got a lot of cool stuff to tell you about tonight, and it's kind of a hangout night. We're just going to talk about more stuff with season 2, including some cool clips that I've picked out of the bin for you. And then I want to talk a little bit about season 3, if you can believe it. So we've got that, and I literally was just on a recording session with a lot of our actors this week. We've been busy working. Some of you may have seen in the headlines that SAG went on strike today, and yes, our actors, many of them are inside of that, and so thankfully, we were able to get most of them done ahead of time, but then the little bit left, we will have a little bit of a clause to get to keep working. But we definitely support our writers and our actors in making sure that they are getting paid what they should be for the work they do. We love the work they do. But today I was in a session with Alkeo, who plays Janner, and he is just a big fan of the series at the same time as being a really talented actor. And at the end of the session, I was like, hey, man, you want to say hey to the live stream folks that are coming on here in a little bit? And so he sent this little greeting. So here's a little greeting from Alkeo.
Hey, Wingfeather Saga fans, it's Alkeo, and I play Janner on the Wingfeather Saga series. We just finished recording another episode of Season 2, and it was so much fun, and I'm so excited that you all are going to be able to see this incredible episode. I hope you guys have a great live stream, and I'll see you soon!
And we will. Thank you, Alkeo. I threatened him earlier because, like all great actors, you got to get to your best take. And he did have a couple versions of that where he stumbled. And I said, I'm going to just show all the stumbled bits. But Alkeo, you see, I did you right. Just a good one. Anyways, Andrew is spending some time over in Europe, in the UK, working on some new projects, a new book, I believe. And so he's not with us tonight, but he will be back with us soon. Okay, let's dive into a couple things right away. First off, it has been amazing to see how many new fans are coming. So a couple things have happened since we were together last, but the books, of course, have made their way into Walmart for the first time. The first book is on paperback in Walmart, and the second book is not far behind. And that's just introducing a whole new set of fans to this story that may have heard about the series either on the books or the television show now and are coming in. And thank you guys. Hit us up in the comments if you are one of these, but a lot of you have been taking photos and where you're finding them. The other place a lot of people are finding them is Barnes & Noble. So book 1 is part of the summer reading program. And folks are seeing that on tables and in recommended lists in lots of places. So it's really cool. That new paperback version has a cool sticker that says now an animated series, which we are. And so that's really fun. In that space, this show has always been free, right? The really cool thing, and this is part of Angel Studios' kind of approach to the market, is to say, what if the shows are free? And at the end of that experience, what if we said, hey, if you liked what you saw, support the show, and you can pay it forward, meaning you can thank the investors and the people that came underneath it to set us off by paying it forward and helping us to make more of Wingfeather Saga. So like I said, we're right in the middle of Season 2. Some of you have seen in the app, there's a little ticker at the bottom that kind of calculates how we're doing in our funding with Pay It Forward and other things. Every time you buy a t-shirt, that helps us. Every time you buy merch, that does it. But paying it forward is just exactly that. It's like, imagine if myself or Andrew or otherwise were standing outside of a theater and you walked out having watched a free movie, and we said, hey, did you like it? If so, do you want to chip in? And you can help us make more of these episodes. So we've got on the ticker, you'll see that we're midway through episode 4 of season 2. That's the funding we've got so far, and we want to keep that going. So as you've seen, some of you have been paying attention over the past couple of weeks. It's been in a lot of headlines, but Angel Studios used this same model for the new Sound of Freedom movie and had people pay it forward to say, hey, if you can afford a movie ticket, you can pay it forward and go see that movie for free. Same thing works here. So if you want to see more episodes from us, including paying for all of season 2, then that's how it works. And so you can help us by scanning that QR code yourself. If you haven't, we'd love for you to join with us. It is how this whole thing works. So I don't mean to shake you down right as we show up for a live stream, but that's really what we're doing here. Is we make this show, we want to make it available for as many people as possible, and it's been an astonishing thing to watch the numbers go up and up and up for how many people have watched the show. And now we're saying, okay, how many of those can pay it forward? Because if it's like 10%, right, it would pay for all of season 2. If it was 50%, it would pay for season 2 and 3, right? And so it doesn't take a lot. We love the crowd. Angel Studios believes in the crowd, and we believe in you guys too. You've been the whole reason we're even here doing this show is because the crowd showed up. Over 10,000 of you invested in the show, and now people are doing the same thing with Pay It Forward. So that is a huge part of what we do, and we want to find some more ways to kind of remind you of that. And so we're working on some really fun ideas for, some funny prompts. Some of you guys may watch Dry Bar Comedy. We love it. Our family loves Dry Bar Comedy. And there's some very funny tip jar kind of pay it forward stuff that happens with those comedians. And we thought maybe we do something with our people. So if you have ideas on pay it forward that you want us to do, hit it in the comments. There's some pitched ideas about Commander Norm maybe being someone who might ask someone to pay it forward. And that could be very fun. But we'll see. Love to hear from you on that one. All right. Pay it forward is a big part of that. The other big thing that helps us to make this show is the merchandise. So shirts like this are a big part of, making this thing happen. You don't buy a shirt just because you get to show your friends, though that's really cool. Footnote, sidebar. How many of you guys have worn a Wingfeather shirt out and had someone approach you? Hit it in the comments if you have had someone approach you and said, hey, Wingfeather, I know that show. I actually had it happen to me recently, and someone said, oh, Wingfeather, yeah, we love that show. We read the books. And I was like, cool, yeah, I love the show too. And I talked about it for a bit. And eventually they figured out that I was actually the one making the show. And it was kind of a, oh, wow. So you know a little bit about it? I'm like, I know some things about the show, yeah. If you ever find me on the street or other places and you want me to, I'm really easy to get spoilers out of. So now you know. Anyway, so Wingfeather shirts and cool stuff like that. But we also have some new stuff that is coming all throughout this fall. One of those is a new hat. Now, it's a hat that I think is super cool. I don't wear it well. So I asked my son Calvin, because he wears it well. Come in here, Calvin. Check out this new Fight the Fangs. That's a good looking hat, son.
Thank you.
I like it. So this is one of those really nice, flat kind of with the nice structured hat. You can here go closer to the camera so you can see there. Yeah, there's Fight the Fangs, man. It's a very nice hat, right? Fits well.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good build.
It's really comfortable. Now
it's got a cool detail. So Calvin, look that way. Right here by the ear. See that? It's a little secret symbol.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. So those hats are in the store. They're super cool. I love them. And we also got another new thing in the store that just arrived, which we're trying to make it look better here because it comes rolled. But ladies and gentlemen, it is the season 2 poster, and it's super cool. So all the cool imagery you've seen online, but in print form, and it looks great. Here, you want to set it back there? Okay, so we're going to set it over the original season 1 one. There you go. Oh, it actually sits nicely on there. Okay, there it is. Season 2 has arrived. These posters are now available in the store. They come rolled up, not creased, and so you can get those there. So the hat and the poster are both available. They're nice. Can I see it real quick? Sorry, don't want to show your bad hair, but yeah. It's a good hat. It's a good structure. It's got the, anytime you help us out by picking up a piece of merch, helps us to make more episodes. Honestly, it's just that simple. and we so appreciate all of you that have been supporting us in that. And there is another baseball hat, the blue one. That one I can wear. That one's more, in my space. Bucket hat. Elijah wears the bucket a lot, and that's a good one. There's some stickers. There's the bags. There's just a lot of really cool stuff. Brock Starnes on our team, along with the amazing Angel Studios merch team, keep coming up with new things to add in there. And there's a bunch of new stuff coming. But we wanted to show you these first, the new Fight the Fangs and the poster, because it just showed up on the store. It's funny because Mr. Peterson, he will tell me about the merch that he just ordered from the store. I'm like, wait, no, you don't have to order it. He's like, yeah, I do. I want to order it. I want to support the show, man. So, thank you, everybody. So paying it forward, obviously the most effective way to support our show and help us keep making these episodes. We've got a great team of people. We are back up to about 60 people on our staff making this season 2. And as way of update, we are through episode 2 of animation. And we're actually in episode 3 now. And we just started looking at, before last, I think you were in the car with me. I was actually in the car having to do this, but reviewing my first final shots, colored lit shots from episode 1 of season 2. So that has already begun. So it's coming along. You guys have been asking, we were hitting in the comments earlier, but when is season 2 coming? And the announcement date for season 2 is coming very soon. The announcement date for season, not season 2 so much, but we are trying to do it week by week this time, so that you're not waiting, between the episodes. And that means we just we're gonna start it later. That's all there is to it. It will not start in December the same as it did last time. It's gonna start a little bit later, but then it'll be week, and play out all 7 episodes of season 2. So that's the update on that. But the team is working hard at it. We are going to be doing many more of these. Going to have fun live streaming with you all and giving you more production behind the scenes and updates like this one we're doing tonight. So, Calvin, thanks for showing the hat off. Appreciate it. All right, see you, buddy. See ya. That was as long as I could have him on screen. There was a contractual obligation to say goodbye to him. All right, let's keep going. Let's talk about production, shall we? All right. A lot of you have been asking, and hey, if you've got questions you want me to answer, I am at your disposal this evening. I'm here for as long as you need me. Hit them in the comments, and I'll try to get to as many as possible. There were quite a few that entered some early on our YouTube page. We did a little post earlier, and so some good stuff there. Jesse's got one right away. Okay, let me get this one. Is there an age limit for the series? Thinking this might be fun for nephews. I don't know how old your nephews are, Jesse. Nephews, I have a nephew who's in his 50s. So, he's fine. Your nephew could be younger. Choose carefully. I thought it was interesting. Common Sense Media, if you guys know these guys, our family uses them a lot to kind of just get a sense of, what the age appropriateness is for stuff, right? And I work in animation, so I'm... personally very sensitive to violence and any sort of sexuality and stuff like that, and so I like to look at outside sources to see. And Common Sense had this, and they said, it's a little scary for young kids. The TV series is aimed at preteen to teen, so TVY7, but it's this preteen to teen audience. So some families, they're watching Marvel movies with their 4 and 5-year-olds. Some families are waiting until they're teenagers, right? So really choose carefully. But there is quite a lot of peril and violence, both in the books themselves. So if you guys have read these fine books, they're gritty, not unlike Lord of the Rings, right? I think that's why people often refer to the series as Lord of the Rings meets Chronicles of Narnia, because it has kind of the winsome of Narnia, but it's a little tougher, like Lord of the Rings and stuff that happens in the series. So, that's a pretty good answer for your age limit. All right, I want to talk about the season 2 arc. A lot of you have been asking, where's our story in season 2? And honestly, it's directly inside of this book. So book 2 of Wingfeather Saga, North! Or be eaten. This is book 2 of the series. It basically picks up immediately where we ended season 1. And so I'm curious for you guys, how far do you think, and put it in the comments, the 7 episodes will take us through this book? Where do you think we're going to stop? I'll just give you a hint. We're not going to complete the entire book. Frankly, there's a big section of material near the back of the book that is going to go into season 3. Okay, so just get that right away. But where do you think that the story is going to stop in the second season? A lot of you guys are interested in television shows and just kind of how they get adapted from maybe your favorite book, and then also just how it's developed. And in this, you think about the 7 episodes and how might you break it into 7 kind of distinct chapters, right? I will tell you, just to kind of give you a little bit of spoiler, episode 3, which I have our beat cards here. I actually brought them out for you. So I've mentioned this before, but when we're breaking these in the writer's room, we do these cards. And so these tell us a little bit about what's going to happen in that given episode, and it's beat by beat, right? So I showed you a bit of animation last time, and it was in this beat 2 here in the animation we gave you a sneak peek of last time, and it was them doing drills near Pete's treehouse, getting prepared for the flight they're going to make to the ice prairies. That's a part of episode 1. Episode 2, I'm not going to talk about that one. Episode 3 introduces, it's called temporarily called Stranded. It's kind of fun. Episode 3 is introducing new sets of enemies, challenges, if you will, the Stranders of the East Bend. And so if the Stranders are going to happen in episode 3, and that's going to be kind of, you got to meet the Stranders and kind of deal with all that stuff, then you can start to break out what has to happen in each episode. Kind of what's the major set piece? What's the major thing that's going to happen, right? So many of you know in this book there's a location called the Fork Factory. It's a really daunting location, kind of a Dickensian, labor workhouse. And so when does the Fork Factory drop in? And maybe how many episodes is that? So that's how it gets developed. Honestly, it's figure out what the chapters need to be. Where do we want to begin? And then I end up doing a guidance of, okay, opening image, where we want to start the season is here. And the ending image I want to be this, right? And maybe there's an after credits, little extra something like we did in season 1. I think those are fun to do to kind of give you a little extra sauce there. But season 2, we did all the scripting, and through that process, you kind of shake it down. So you work out your outlines of here's what happens in each episode, and then you do a full screenplay. And then you do animatics. And so we've shown you guys some animatics in the past that kind of give you an idea of what the animators will need to do on top of it. They're kind of like blueprints, right? So if you sketch that out. And so those blueprints then get conformed into layout. We never really show you layout because layout just looks weird. It's where all the CG characters kind of move around like stick figures. And it's kind of hard to watch. It's fun, but hard to watch. But we then get into animation. And so we have been animating like crazy. And we have another special clip that we want to show you. This is from episode 1. Again, and I'm going to show it to you, and then we're going to talk a little bit about what you think. I'm curious in the comments what you think this moment is setting up. Let's just put it that way. So this one is in animation, and so in animation you're going to see that everything's moving and kind of active and alive, and there's very temporary sound effects in here. Very temporary sounds of efforts. Efforts are in the efforts of the and whoa. That's efforts. There's very temporary stuff in there, so some of it doesn't fit very well. Temporary music, this kind of thing. But most importantly, all the temporary backgrounds. So the environment is very rough and kind of clay-like, and it's not the beautiful paintings that you're going to see later. But this bit of animation kind of sets up an important moment in the first episode. So we're going to play it, and then we'll talk about what this thing has for it. So check this out.
Keep moving, you maggot loaves! Advance!
What? Okay, so I got to see it. I've got my little dashboard over here. So that's a clip in animation, and so obviously it's quite gray, and it's a lot of things happening there. But a couple things to note. So in there, you'll have seen a Fang that was running. Okay, this is actually a really important Fang. I don't know if I can tell where exactly it is, but there was a Fang running who doesn't look like the other Fangs. He looks, frankly, like a lizard, just kind of a bit of a boring lizard. This is one of our new Lego Fangs, we call them. They're not actually Lego. But in order to have lots of Fangs, because we need some for a variety of reasons coming up very soon, we have a base Fang now that we can accent and do cool stuff to. But it lets us have lots of Fangs really fast. So, the fight at Inkle Jelly Manor in episode 6, there was a really interesting army that comes pounding. Oh, there he is, yeah. So this guy right here is our base. He will not look like that when you see the final show. He's going to get this really cool accoutrement of like helmety stuff, and then we actually have some body parts he can go on and this kind of thing. So this is a really big breakthrough for us because it allows us to multiply the number of really interesting creatures we have as we get into, especially these first couple episodes. They're quite big. But okay, so I'm seeing some chats here. So the family arrives in the forest to a gully and has to slide down on this gully. And if you've read the book series, I think you know where this leads to and what's going on with Nugget when we get down there. But it's super cool. Also, I just want to point out that's Nugget with his really cool saddle. We were like, okay, they have too many bits and pieces. We have to have someplace. I know in a lot of cartoons and a lot of animation, you just take the big piece of whatever and you just whoop, and it just magically disappears. But we thought, let's go ahead and have some place they can haul some stuff. And so Nugget's got this cool set of gear that he's wearing to help them haul away as they have to flee from the Fangs who are pursuing. And yes, you got the comment. General Krat calls them maggot loaves. Just, it was a fun one. Kellen had a kick out of that one. All right, so yep, I think you're all getting it. There's a rockroach showing up very soon, and it's very, very scary. All right, so drop in the comments. What questions do you have? I've got a couple of things I want to show you, but let's see. We got another question right away I can jump into. Oh, I had one. Okay, John says, love your animation. Thank you. Do I work together in Nashville? Most of our crew is scattered throughout the United States and the world. Like I said, about 60 of us. There's a group of, let's see, we're up to 8 of us that do get to spend time in an office most days. And here in Nashville. But then there's others that stay remote. So like even Garrett Taylor, who is right here in Franklin, has a little home office set up. And so we only see him once every couple of weeks. No, it's great. He's doing the work he does as our art director. He commands a really remote team that's kind of all over the place. But we do get together from time to time for movie nights. We love animation. A bunch of the crew went and saw the Studio Ghibli of Nausicaa the other night. Yeah, we love, and we always talk about what the latest. And I'm curious, so what have you seen lately in animated series or in features that you love? I know for our team, Puss in Boots was a big one for us last year. And this year, I think a few of them went out to see Elemental. It's gorgeous, unbelievable. And we're super excited, frankly, about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Because it has a really cool art style that's very similar to ours. We're glad to have gotten our show out first, but we think that's going to be a really big one too. Are there any new challenges that you didn't have in season 1? Yes, a couple challenges. First, way more action, water, which we've solved, and it's really cool. Water, and lots more human characters that are very different looking. And so that's one of the big challenges in building, CG assets. When we build these, we have to do that. Is there's just a lot of characters. And so that's one of the challenges. One of the other challenges, I know some people have talked about this a little bit. Oh, I totally blew past this. I'm so sorry. Yes, we've all seen Spider-Verse multiple times. We study it like film history. Yeah, I was there opening night for Spider-Verse 2. And man. And it's so interesting, folks, because when we were showing Wingfeather Saga, the short film back in the day and trying to pitch the show, all the studios were like, yeah, we want the Pixar look. This animation style, we're just not sure it's going to take. And we're like, yeah, we think people are tired of CG animation and it's kind of a glut. Could we try something new? And we don't know. Then Spider-Verse came out and was like, yes, we can. We're so thankful it punched through. And the new one, of course, they advanced it even further, just like so many different animation styles. We loved it. Someone made a comment earlier about, speaking of challenges season 2, in season 2, there's a particular song, the Song of Stones, which is referenced, but we have to make a melody for it. And so we have tasked our dear friend Isaac from Arcadian Wild, who is brilliant with this stuff, to work hard to try to come up with what is that melody. This is not unlike the melody from Little Mermaid, my favorite animated feature, when she is singing her little aria with Ursula. It's wordless, but it's a melody, and it's a melody that has to be able to be sung for dark reasons and has to be able to be sung for positive reasons. And so it's complicated, and it also has to be. Isaac was messaging me this week. Does it have to be sung by the actors? Meaning, how hard can I make this vocally? And yes, the actors have to be able to. A couple of them, anyways. So yeah, that's one of the big challenges in season 2 is some of the soundscape. In addition to that, of course, we've got new lands, and we want to have a different soundscape for the new lands that we're into. We had Glipwood. It was wonderful, and everything we need to set up in season 1. But now season 2 is about taking that forward. What news? And I would expect the Stranders of the East Bend to have a different kind of sound signature, and so we've been playing around with what that needs to be. So that's one of them. So cool. What other questions you got? I got so many answers for you. Would you ever consider doing how to draw videos, or maybe as a perk for Piff? Yeah. Here's the thing. Thank you. 2 things I want to say about that. One, I love doing perks. Like, hey, if you pay it forward, you can get your name in the credits. That's true, and that's so amazing. But I hate like putting things behind a paywall as well. Like when the show is free. So I personally, my partners in the studios, we go round and round with this. I love how to draw videos. I used to produce all the how to draw videos for VeggieTales when I was there, before I started producing the movies, and they're just so entertaining. Just learning from an artist, and some of the artists have actually asked me, hey, can we do some behind the scenes stuff together? So that may happen. I don't know about specifically draw stuff, but maybe how to paint, because we got some brilliant people on our staff that do that too. So, yeah, great. All right, what's your next question? And then I have something else I want to show you. Okay, will you ever make Maggoty loaf for us? Like right here? Like just make it and then here it is? Probably not. But you can make some. I've seen some of you guys do some really cool recipes where the maggot loaf involves like some gummy worms and, safe to eat things. It's pretty fantastic, so. Okay, I want to talk about something else. So in season 2, one of the tasks we have is creating the visual map of what it's going to feel like and look like. So those are always entwined. And so what we do is we create a color script. And so we have now completed the color script for all 7 episodes. And I want to show you a little bit of this. And so let's pull up one of the first panels. I think our team has got that set up. Yeah, there we go. Here we are. So the start, I'm just showing you, this is basically the start of season 2, episode 1, is reminding us Glipwood. Glipwood is not in good shape. Okay, it is in bad shape. It has been besieged by Fangs. So what I want to pay attention to here is this is an image that is familiar for people who saw season 1, but it's hazier, right? It's got the smoke in there. It's a more kind of dangerous space, and so this gives you a tone. Let's go to that second image, guys, if we can. Oh man, Zuzab looking awesome. We all know from season 1, Zuzab turns out to be a traitor. What nefarious deeds is he into here? And so in these kind of color imagery here, it's just broad colors and shapes. We're not here to do high detail. It's meant to be, give me a sense of it, right? So he's got a strong sunlight behind him, silhouette, and it gives you, here's the tone of these. Let's go to the next one here. And of course the black carriage, always threatening, Fangs with some person on the ground, just even look more threatening when they're shapes like this, don't they? Let's go to the next one. Loading up, and then in comes a new carriage with our General Crack, who's going to be in Glipwood, unfortunately. And so the smoke behind him really gives a sense of kind of how difficult it is in Glipwood. Let's go one more forward, I think. Yes. Okay, so here is the mood for the clip I showed you last time. If you missed our previous live stream, which was about a month ago, you can go back and see this, but there's a clip of the kids doing their training, right? So Janner and Kalmar and Lily, in some way, are training, and very different, right? So all the browns and smokes and contrast. Well, here, they're in the woods. It's kind of dappled light here. It's warm, right? And this gives you, as you see this, it gives you a sense of the mood as we're going through it. Let's advance one more here. There they are, still in their training. There's Pete's treehouse in the background, big nugget with Lily on his back. Let's go forward one more. The treehouse, of course, warm. Nia up there preparing them for their journey to the ice prairies. So again, kind of give you a sense of that. There's Tink up in a tree practicing again. And I think one more. Okay, so now some bad things have started to happen. I see some silhouettes and the light starts to shift a little bit. Let's go one more forward on this guy. She's doing a great job. Aha, Fangs, right? See how it shifts to gray. So it was these warm, kind of dappled greens. And so when we put this all together, we get a big panel that shows us kind of the color and emotional arc that a given episode is going to take. These are super important because what can happen is unintentionally you can end up with just a run of a lot of dark colors or too bright at times, that kind of thing. And so this map is really important to kind of help everybody to know where to go in the feeling of the scenes as they build. Because, of course, in storyboards, it's all in black and white. So these color scripts have been a big part of that. Ooh, what is that? 'Tis a horned hound. Okay, that is all we're going to show of these for now, because the next couple start to get into some spoilers, which I don't want to do. But anyways, color scripts have happened. We'll give you some sneaks along the way as we do some more of these live streams in the rest of the summer and fall. I just got to tell you, the screenings we've had so far, just with our team, we do kind of all team stuff watching these episodes. They're working. They're really, really good. So, okay. Another question that came up earlier that I want to respond to. Someone said, are you going to talk about why Poto it has such a bad thing going with Pete? So if you remember a number of times in episode, in season 1 rather, Poto was really rough with Pete. Why? Well, if you read the books, I think you know why. But why in the show? And we have a thing on our show, which is the curse of knowledge. All of us on the show have read these books, and so we know that story. And we actually realized a little late that we didn't really ever answer more succinctly for this part of our journey, because there's multiple layers as to what's going on with Poto and Pete. But we didn't answer at this part of our journey why that Poto is so rough. And so we actually inserted a new scene into episode 1 that just got recorded last week with Jody and with for Lily as well, and actually Henry Ian for Pete. All of them recorded this bit, and Kevin for Poto. Sorry, it was the whole crew, all 4 of them. Recorded this new scene that is Nia explaining a bit about what's happened but between Pete and Poto and why there's tension between them. And so, yes, so those answers, we actually have a later bit of information that drops in, and we realized we should probably, for those of you out that have watched season 1 going, wait, what's going on with those guys? Let's go ahead and give you a little bit about what's happening there so they're not just kind of rough and unkind to each other for no reason, right? So, yeah, so thanks for asking that question earlier, but there's your full answer. All right, what other questions do we have here? I think there's a few more. Love the merch. Do you have a recommendation on what to get? New fan. I think T-shirts, honestly, because they're really fun. One, they're good shirts. They do a good job of picking out good stuff. But I love wearing the T-shirts out. Like I said, it's one of those things where people that know about Wingfeather Saga, either they've read the books or watched the series, love to see other fans. And I've heard from families that will wear them together when they're out at a restaurant, and just see who notices. It's the early part of a TV show and of a brand, as they say, where people are seeing, and go, oh, I know that, right? And it's really satisfying to meet people who are who share your same love of a story. I love Wingfeather Saga. I love the story. That's why I love being a part of telling it in the animated series. And it's really satisfying to talk to other fans and say, what was meaningful to you? Well, this was meaningful to me. This moment with this character, this scene was really meaningful. And I do find that it's quite a number of different things as you talk to different folks about what they loved about it. It's not unlike talking about Avatar Last Airbender, the Nickelodeon show. There's things that really resonate for people. And we think Wingfeather does the same. So, yeah, start with a t-shirt. Be fun. Maybe pick up some bookmarks along the way. I don't know. Would you guys ever make a Wingfeather tabletop RPG? Oh, yes, we would. Okay, so we are actively developing one right now, only because one of our wonderful staff members took it upon themselves to create a version. And we've actually done game testing with fans. And we're trying to see if there's a way to do an RPG. RPG is role-playing game. Role-playing game as a tabletop thing for families, right? To make it a little easier. There actually is an Avatar Airbender simple version of this, and so we're kind of looking at their game mechanics. Some of those games get pretty complicated, so kind of hard for families to tap into. We have a bunch of nerds on our staff who play the big versions of those games and don't have any problems with it, so we're trying to find a bridge between the two and go into it with all the cool things that Wingfeather has to offer, right? The creatures and all the kind of lore and the names and all that fun stuff. So yes, we're actively working on that and have some really cool stuff in mind, but the idea would be to have it as an actual game. It takes a while to put all that together, I'll just be honest. But got some people working on it. So, yeah, thanks for asking. All right, what else? Oh, thank you for asking, Artham. Are you actually Artham? That's crazy. Will there be DVDs for season 1 and 2? How many of you actually want DVDs? Well, frankly, turns out that lots of people still like DVDs and Blu-rays. That's the shiny things that come on a disc and you put them in things. And yes, we're working on it. I was actually just in a meeting, just like right before we jumped on here, with the awesome DVD Blu-ray team over at Angel Studios. And we have some really cool packaging, and that is coming out this fall. And this first version is going to be a DVD and Blu-ray in one thing. Super cool. But it features a little commentary from myself and Andrew as a creators. We did kind of a first pass at this. We'd love to do one later that includes our music team and other things, but we thought, well, we'll do one of them. And we actually did it as a video version as well. And just, it's like if we sat together, all of us watching the episodes, what would we say about the episodes, watching them with you? And it was kind of that commentary. And I love good commentaries, like when they're done well. And I'll just tell you, we worked pretty hard at this, like actually like scripted out, like, hey, don't forget to talk about this, because sometimes when you're watching, if you ever have a chance to do this, you just kind of you just start watching the show and you forget you're supposed to be talking. But yeah, so we get to film that and record it for the audio portion. So that will be available as part of that DVD Blu-ray when it comes out this fall. So yeah, we're working on it. And in fact, actually, it's probably going to have a real opportunity to be out there with the books because both are kind of retail stuff. So very cool. All right, what else we got here? And they will have all kinds of languages and all kinds of fun stuff too. My sister wants to know what your favorite location in Ariar is. Thank you, Jessica. My favorite location, Pete's Treehouse is probably my favorite location. Yeah, it just has all the and the sky roads, as Lily calls them, but all the, the ability to walk among the trees, and that just is all kinds of childhood imaginations feeding. I'm curious, what's your favorite location out there, everybody? That's definitely mine. So yeah. All right, what's another question here? Jacob says, got here in time. I promise I'll buy a hat when I can. Question, do you voice someone in the show? I do voice a number of characters in the show, a little bit. I voice all the characters to start off, so I will do all the scratch for all the characters. I do a pretty embarrassing Poto. Which Kevin, we recorded with him this week, and we had a new scene in which I was doing in my Poto voice, and he's very polite about it, but it's not good. He's way better. But I do have some of the characters that will stay behind and be part of the show. I love finding other actors that can play in it. But in season 1, a couple Fangs. See if you can pick me out. See if you can find me. Figure out where my voice is. Hiding. It's kind of tucked in. Some crowd things. I think there's actually, we were joking about this, we think one of the kid voices, not the actual voice, but like there's a kid who's like, look out, or something like this, and it's actually still my voice. But yeah, I don't like being featured. In season 2, I did, we played a couple things, but one of them was the trolls. I played a troll. There you go. Will season 2 be more intense than season 1, Merrily? Okay, how do you pronounce it? Merrily is the name of the character in Wingfeather Saga. Is it Merrily, or Marley, or what is the other way I've heard it? I've heard 3 different pronunciations of it. I think it's Merrily. Yeah, season 1 was really about setting up kind of the story world and kind of the stakes that the family is going to face. And season 2 is really about action, kind of in that space. Now, it's more intense, meaning there's more challenges. So season 1 was about the family coming together, learning their identity and who they are in the world and what their purpose and some of the stuff. Season 2 is really putting pressure on and kind of breaking up and seeing how they do on their own. And choices will be made that are difficult, that are not great. And there's real peril in the world. And ultimately, characters will have sacrifices. So some of that is in season 2, some is later in season 3. But yeah, the word intense is kind of broad, but yes. Though, not as intense maybe as the book. There's some stuff in the book that we had to kind of pull down just a little bit. Cool. What other questions you got? Hey, James, new fan. Hi. Pay it forward. Is that best way to support it? Yeah, I, honestly, James, and thanks for tuning in. The best way to support us is to tell your friends about the show. Honestly, more people watching is great. And then, yes, pay it forward. That is a really cool way to support and say, I like this work and I want it to continue. You vote with dollars, right? You say, I like this, I want it to continue. I could tell you, I love Indiana Jones. I think it's the best. Did you see the movie? No. Well, then I don't really love it, right? And I didn't support it financially. So I think supporting us that way is a great way to do it. They're showing this really cool blog. This is a great way. You can scan that QR code. It'll tell you more about how the show gets renewed, right? And so you want to renew us for season 2. We're midway through funding all of season 2, and we would love to have more support to get us all the way there. And frankly, to get season 3 here faster. The more that you guys support with pay it forwards and telling friends and getting more people to watch the show, especially as they're home this summer not doing anything, this is a way that the show gets moving faster. So season 3, let's just talk about that for a second. We went ahead and broke into our writer's room for season 3. That's right. We have broken the episodes of season 3. Yeah! It was amazing. It was so intense. And just some really cool characters, really cool locations. The Ice Prairies is kind of the featured location in season 3. Some really important moments that are happening in that season, and we would love to bring it to you as fast as we can. Right now, honestly, we're slowing down a little bit because we want to make sure that we're getting plenty of support. We don't want to kind of get over our skis, right? We want to make sure that we have you all coming along with us. So pay it forward is the way to support the show, and then telling your friends to go watch it and also pay it forward and support the show to keep us rolling. We want to move on through getting the funding done for season 2 so we can get into season 3 as soon as possible. And anytime people are buying the merch, buying books, this kind of thing, that helps us as well. So yeah, thanks. All right, what else? These are great questions, you guys. These are really good stuff. Will there be more updates coming soon of the next season? Well, as a matter of fact, we're doing those right now, Mary. Season 2, like I said, is middle of production. Animation is complete for the first couple episodes, and it's coming to you very soon. This fall, we'll have an announcement about when it's coming. It will be later than it was for season 1. There, because we want to do them week by week. So we talked about that a little earlier. Yeah. And somebody asked earlier, actually, I have the chat thing open here. Let me go hit it real quick because I replied to a few of you guys out there. Beth Moffat 864 mentioned, I know the series isn't exactly the same as the books, but based on events that were different from the books in season 1, do you have any idea how much that might affect the differences between the show and the books in the next season? That is a great question. Beth Moffat, I hope you're watching, but I'll answer your question just now. When we think about the books and the arc of the story inside this awesome set of books, there is a spine of those events, of the characters and what happens to them over that whole story, right? All 4 books. What we are planning to do is, of course, stay true to that spine. Now, some of the events and way the characters interact with themselves as we go around that gets to curve and turn and move gracefully between them. So someone asked, will the relationship between Janner and Sarah Cobbler be different in season 2? Because in the books, she isn't even introduced until season 2. But we introduced her in season 1. Not necessarily. It won't be necessarily different because they are going to meet at a different location in a different part of their kind of world. You know, a lot of things have changed, and so their relationship will not change dramatically. So while we may start something sooner, we will kind of align again with the books, and then we'll go over here and show you something else that you haven't seen or haven't thought of before, and then we'll come back and hit this. We actually were, in the session with Alkeo today, with Janner, we had a set of dialogue, and I was actually cracking the book open because we were checking a phrase. And then we realized, oh, we could just say the literal line from the book in this spot. And we do that, the writers, and I do that often, we'll pull, just right out of the book exactly how it went down. And there's other places where we need to kind of condense or kind of give you more detail because Andrew, the author, has told it in the book, but we have to give it to you visually. So those variables will change. But you're going to find, hopefully you all felt this in season 1. Season 1, you're like, whoa, this is very different than it was in the book. Oh, now it's the same. Whoa, it got different again. Whoa, now it's the same, right? And this idea that we're kind of converging and coming back apart. I hope that makes sense, but that's certainly our intent. I think you're going to see in season 2 more stuff that's, kind of as it was directly in the books, including bits of dialogue and that kind of thing. Okay, what other questions are there for you? Any others there? What's the main story theme for Wingfeather Jones? I think people take away different things from this story. For me personally, I feel like it's a story that is deeply rooted in identity. Who am I in the world? Isn't that like a common theme, right? Luke Skywalker asks that at the beginning of Star Wars. Who am I? Like, am I just here on this farm with my aunt and uncle? What is there a bigger world that I'm a part of? This is kind of a classic hero's journey question. And the answers to those questions are complicated and difficult, honestly, in Wingfeather. And the way in which Andrew wrote the books and takes us through those, first, it's a question of identity. Spoiler if you haven't seen season 1, but the question of identity is, who are these children? The Igby kids, who are they? Oh, they're the Wingfeather kids. They're the heirs to the throne of Anira in the world of Ariar. And they have some purpose to fulfill. Well, what is that purpose? And how will it be fulfilled? Well, right now in our story, as we're in the middle of having finished season 1 and starting season 2, Anira is burned to the ground. It is ash. So they're king and queen of what exactly? And does that matter in the world? Again, so this identity question comes up, and so I've just told you, you're the king of Anira, you're the throne warden of Anira. What does that mean on a Tuesday in a treehouse in the woods? And that's really where season 2 picks up, and it's this question that is going to get more complex as we go. It's going to have questions of identity for lots of characters throughout the series, frankly, and some of those answers are really tough, and frankly, for me, some of the best moments of the entire story as we learn kind of the deeper identities and what happens when we assume an identity, right? We decide, I don't want to be who I am. I want to be something else. It's like putting on an avatar, your best version of that. And sometimes those don't fit well. It's in the Bible, it was David and Saul, right? David's like, I'm a shepherd kid. And Saul's like, put on my armor. You got to fight this big guy. And I don't really do armor, right? But if I did, I'd probably do it badly. And what's my place in the world? What's my journey in that? What's the one that maybe the creator set in motion that will bring my deepest satisfaction, right? I'll do some things and it may not be satisfying, but what if I can curiously find? And I will tell you thematically for Wingfeather, there's a cultural moment that says that those truths about who we are can be found in here. And I don't know that we think that's true. We think maybe the better satisfaction is in the community of people, our families, and the community of people around us, and our creator that tells us a lot about who we are and how we fit into the world. And so the story is going to explore a lot of those ideas, right? And choices that characters make, and how's that working for you? You know, you chose this path, and I chose this path, and you're going to see that happen as we get into season 2 and 3 and forward. Like I said, we just finished wrapping season 3 out, and there's some big moments of choice that happen. Big moments. Can't wait to tell you more about that. All right. Are there plans? There are a few instances of poems and songs in book 2. Are there plans for some of these to appear in the show? Yes. In fact, we were just doing some mining for that to pull up some of the poems and songs and bring them to life. And yeah, 100% going to happen in both seasons 2 and 3 area archives. I knew you would catch that one. Chapters 15, 19, and 28. Thank you. Yes. We want those for sure. Okay. Will we see more of the Igby's connection with the sea dragons in the books? That is a great question. And yes, it unfolds over time, right? So we had in episode 1 of season 1, we get to run into the sea dragons. Wham! There they are. We'll see them again in season 2, and then once again in season 3. And so they kind of drop into the story from time to time, right? And have influence. But yeah, we'll definitely do that. When can we expect a season 2 trailer? Doing math in my head. I would suggest we'd probably have a teaser trailer, early clips and things like this sometime in like September, October. Be my guess, based on just kind of the amount of footage we need, you know, to make it interesting for you guys. Yeah, great question. Question for Chris. Could you do your Poto voice for me? Oh my gosh. It's not good. Let's see if I have a scene here that I can just find, and I'll give it to you. Actually, I have a script. I was just doing Poto's sides earlier. But someone asks here, too, while I pull this up, is there a florid sword appearance? Is there a florid sword appearance coming up in... yeah, oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah, he makes a great appearance. In fact, that's one of our upcoming cast reveals, is who is the florid sword. We had a masked man that showed up in season 1 and played by our friend Dave Barnes. But that is not necessarily the florid sword in his full. So I don't mean to be cagey about it, but yes, it's coming, and I think you're going to dig it. All right, here's this scene with Poto when he's yelling at the kids to be doing their stuff, you know.
Hey, tell me I don't still see 3 unperforated cows running loose. Take them down, boys.
There's my Poto. It's pretty bad. So it isn't great. It doesn't sound like Kevin at all. But here's what I'll tell you about that. What it does do is, for you voice actors out there in the world, it emotionally tells you where that scene is going to go, right? So the reason I voice all the characters to start is to kind of put them in the right spot so that everybody knows, that's where this needs to go, right? And Janner's going to remark, yeah, Pembroke says those things can bite even when their heads are cut off. And then Oscar's going to come in here and say, in the words of Ubanus Wound, run, Iggybees, if you're out there, they're coming. And again, emotionally it gets us in the right spot. Does Andrew do that voice a lot better? Yeah, he does. But it helps us to kind of know where they need to go. So, yeah, I end up getting to do all those voices, and it's super fun. Somebody asked this question in here, Kalmar Lowell 04. Are we going to see a certain type of Fang before the season's over? Season 2, he means. Yes. Yes, we are. That's all I'm going to say. Okay. Yeah. Okay. What other questions do you guys have? Any more? We're just about wrapped out of time here. Will there be more new plushies in the store? Yes, we love plushies. We have plans for lots of fun ones. I think we've talked about that, but we have a Nugget plushie that's coming. It's coming a little slower than we were hoping, but it's on its way. And then we also have a Squeeblin that we've been working on. Yep, that's right, Squeeblin. And then I have on my desk at our office, I'm at my other home office, but at my other office, I have a sample of a Toothy Cow plush. Oh man, it's awesome. So yeah, we want to make some more of those. They take a long time, y'all, to get these and to get them right. So they're coming, but there'll be some more. Yeah, but there is, like I said earlier, there's the really cool Fight the Fangs hat and a new poster. Cool. What are the questions you got? I saw one. Is Mig Landers going to make an appearance? Of course, and he's awesome, and I can't wait for you to hear that guy's voice. He's really good. Yep. Cool. Any other questions? I think we got through most of them. Oh gosh, there was a question about the soundtrack. Yes, so sorry. That's just been delayed by a lot of paperwork. Nothing interesting. But unfortunately, there was some contracts that needed to be done with some other distributors. We decided to distribute it differently with Angel Studios and a partner, and so it's been stuck in that. But it will come back to Apple Music, Spotify, and all the other platforms. Hopefully very soon, within the next couple of weeks. I was hoping tonight to get to announce that the soundtrack was back live again, but we not quite ready. So yes, the soundtrack. You're not missing it. It's coming. Johnny asks, will read the books or watch the series first? I don't know. What do you guys think? Read the books or watch the series? My comment. I'm asked this frequently. I actually have people ask a lot. My comment on it is they're different experiences. They're separate experiences. I think you can watch the series and then go read the books and go have a fresh experience, and vice versa. So I don't know if any one is, better than the other, but I'm sure you guys have a different opinion there. Will Janner's jealousy towards Tink in the book be built on in the show? Well, I would just question whether I like that you think it's jealousy. I don't know that jealousy is the primary motive there. I think they're on different paths, but I don't know if it's jealousy. I think there's some other things going on inside of Janner's selfishness. Andrew has talked a lot about that the presiding theme for Janner is one of selfishness. That's kind of a thing he's got to work out, being able to be a throne warden and serve his brother and his family. Andrea's audiobooks 3510. Will any updates be made to explain where Janner heard Arthur and P. Wingfeather? Tink didn't read anything Arthur and Wingfeather. So that was what we call a production error, and it's just the way it is. That's all I'm going to say. Arthur Wingfeather is enough. The P, he ends up figuring it out. I don't know. It's really good. Good note, though. All right, any other questions here? We're just about out of time. All right. Oh, Angel's saying, I like this, from Gordon. Any more casting announcements coming? Yeah, like I said, we have a casting announcement about our Florid Sword, who also plays a character called Gemin. So we have that casting announcement coming up very soon. We're not ready to do that just yet. And then that's kind of our primary cast, honestly. That's really everybody. Somebody has asked about, do we have any more crowd opportunities for people to be a part of the show? And there's only a few slots for some of our kind of crowd and extra and kids in particular. And we have reached out to a number of those folks who auditioned with us during the last round and invited a couple of them in to audition again. And so we've had some back and forth with them. It may not have been you. Sorry about that. But we do have some kids coming in that will be a part of our Fork Factory. Yeah. Last note, and then we'll wrap it here. But there's an interesting thing that we came to a few weeks ago. Well, I came to anyways. I'm late on this, but and it is, there are ideas and characters and things that are set up in a TV show that kind of have their own life that is different from the books. And so there are characters even that we've met in season 1 that we were like, man, it'd be really cool to run into those characters in season 2 or maybe season 3 that we just loved, right? That Ferenia and her flower shop, she's really cool, and like, where could she come back into the story? And I know in the books, she doesn't necessarily make an appearance, but could we make an appearance in the show? And so there's a lot of these that we're kind of working through and looping back into and saying, it'd be really fun to have this character show up again, just because it'd be interesting, right? And maybe in season 2, but certainly in season 3, right? And for a variety of reasons, we've been able to kind of pull some of that together. And we can't wait to show you that stuff. But Sophie says, none of my questions were answered. Sophie, what happened? Okay, let's see. I'm gonna scroll through. I'm gonna find one of Sophie's questions here, and we're gonna answer it, Sophie. Scroll. Good question, she says. All right, team, do we have one from Sophie? Because she's on here a lot. Sophie, in season 1, Janner didn't really seem selfish. Will you build on that part of his character arc in season 2? Oh, thank you, Sophie. You were just chewing up. Thank you, Sophie. Yes. It's a delicate balance of his selfishness. If you think about where he's going into, the Fork Factory, how do you build in some selfishness there? Because he's frankly going to do some things that are selfless. But yes, it comes into play, beginnings of that. It's kind of a back and forth. I think Janner's selfishness for me doesn't really come up big time until book 3. That's where it really starts to rear its ugly head. Cool. Awesome. Well, man, these are some great questions. Thanks, y'all, for jumping in with us. Really enjoyed getting to hang out with you tonight. We will be doing more of these. And in the meantime, y'all, we really appreciate your support. Please get out there and help us make the rest of season 2. We want to crank through this, and honestly, we want to get going into season 3 harder. Like I said, we're kind of slightly moving that through, and we really appreciate your support. Tell your friends about the show, and sometimes it takes a few mentions, right? When you hear about a show, hey, have you watched this yet? No, I haven't done it yet. Come on, go watch it. The show is out there, and then tell them if you like the show, support the show. Don't just consume it and walk away. It's kind of rude. Watch the show, support it, pay it forward, or go pick up some merch, buy a T-shirt, that kind of thing. All that is helping us to do it. And thank you everybody that's jumped in and done that so far. It's been tremendous to see that. And then the other thing I'll tell you that you can help us with is continue to offer reviews. So you can go out there to IMDb and offer a review. Common Sense Media has a review place, Rotten Tomatoes. Offer your review. Tell people what you really think, what you experienced. It means a lot. And then, of course, in the Angel Studios app, you can record your own little video and tell people what you think. We've had some of our crew do that. Some of our actors have done it. Where they pop in and say, hey, I love this show because it meant this to me, and go support it, right? So there's all kinds of ways that you can continue to tell us about what you're experiencing. We'd love to see it. And you'll see us out there. I tend to hover around, and Andrew does in the chats and connect with you guys. But keep sending us questions and comments. We love to read them. It means a lot. All right. Hope you all have a great rest of your Thursday evening. Thanks for taking some time to be with us, and we will see you very soon. Take care.
Toothy cow!
The stakes have been raised. The family's on the run. They've had to leave Glipwood with the Fangs hot on their tail. They're lighting out for the ice prairies because they feel that's the only place that's safe for them. But they've got General Crack who's on their tails. They've got trolls now that are on their tail. He's just trying to track down that family because they seem to know something about the jewels of Anira. Fortunately, he doesn't yet know they are the jewels of Anira.
The jewels of Anira.
But he's been given orders from the Stonekeeper to bring them in alive.
guys, we are punching so far above our weight, it's not even funny. That we're able to pull this off. It's fantastic. Couldn't be prouder. Episode 6 is like the peak of our powers. Imagine an entire season as good as episode 6.